going to be Mohammad Siraj, who comes charging into Gus Atkinson. And there's a roar around the oval because Mohammad Siraj has bowled Gus Atkinson and India win one of the most dramatic test matches you will ever see. The oval erupts, many supporters, lots of Indian supporters in today, people from the India dressing room sprinting onto the pitch. Do not let anybody tell you the test cricket is dead. It is well and truly alive.
Let's reflect on an incredible Test series. Jon Norman, our cricket editor, has been bringing all the overseas fans commentary, of course, and has watched it all unfold. Hiya, John.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello, John.
I think my voice is still there.
Yeah.
Hey, Perry.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was just the sight of Chris Woakes out there and Overton just nicking singles to keep him off strike. I mean, it was just what a fantastic end to a brilliant series.
Well, it had to be, didn't it? It's been the series that has just kept on giving, and you just felt like there was always going to be a twist, because there always has been. 25 days, the first time that's happened since 1980, I think, all 25 days taken up for the series. And, you know, this famous old ground was full. This game could have been over in 4 balls, you know, this morning, and that didn't stop, you know, 27,000 people from not only making the journey but buying a ticket before the test match had even started. It's not like everybody, you know, was so engrossed in day 4 they thought, oh, we'd come along tomorrow. The tickets had already been snapped up, and that tells you so much about the interest in the longer form when it's at its best, when there's jeopardy involved, when there's so much riding on its conclusion on a sporting wicket for possibly the first time in the test match. And I tell you what, the atmosphere here on days 4 and 5, I'll never forget them, because it was the perfect storm in terms of a mix between English and Indian cricket fans here. There was a wonderful moment yesterday when there was a hush around the ground for about half an hour, 45 minutes, where the Indian cricket fans were just starting to fear that the game was getting away from them. At exactly the same moment, the England fans were daring to dream, with Harry Brook and Joe Root at the crease, that they could actually pull off another record-breaking 4th inning heist. As it was, you know, England could have won it with a shot, and what will live long in the memory. And there's so many moments in this test match and the series, but the sight of Chris Woakes walking out onto the field, dislocated shoulder, he didn't have to face a ball, but boy oh boy, you know, it just had to happen. It had to happen. Everybody felt it last night. We will see Chris Woakes tomorrow, and so it came to pass.
John, when we're watching sport, you want wow moments, and obviously you'd be able to take us through probably about 20, but the thing that I thought epitomised it is when England needed 17 to win, Atkinson actually has a brilliant strike, and it goes up in the air, and you think, what's happening here? And then it goes to Deep, and then Deep just puts it over the boundary for 6. You know what I mean? And it is like, am I watching Test cricket here?
Yeah, and of course the same thing had happened yesterday, hadn't it, with Harry Brook caught on the boundary by Mohammad Siraj, only for the bowler, you know, player of the series. You know, you write your own scripts, right? And at every step of the way, whether it's Shubman Gill getting run out, whether it was that moment with Akash Deep in the deep, whether it's Mohammad Siraj stepping on the boundary, and instead of being out for 19, Harry Brook scores 118. You know, Shubman Gill running himself out, the leading run scorer in the test series. All of these moments along, you know, as journalists and as fans, we essentially make them assume, you know, gigantic proportions in terms of the destination of the test match. But of course, until the destination of the test match has been reached, you do not know how important a moment it is. And as it turns out, Mohammad Siraj stepping on the boundary, it didn't matter. Akash Deep stepping on the boundary, it didn't matter. Shubman Gill, didn't matter. What mattered was Mohammad Siraj, with the ball in hand, was in control of his own destiny and the destination of this test match, and he sealed it with that Yorker to dismiss Gus Atkinson. And England were done, falling short, so short. There's only been 8 matches in the history of Test cricket which have been narrower than the 6-run win that India posted here at the Oval. Could have been won with a shot, but it was ended by Mohammad Siraj.
Although as England fans want England to win, John, you think a draw is a fair result given the balance of the 5 tests?
I do, I really do. I think both teams have traded blows, and they've they've just kept coming. I mean, when you consider where India were at Old Trafford, 2-1 down, needing to bat out 5 sessions, not to win a match, but to save one. And then to find yourself here, and where they were in this match as well, at lunch on day 2, England were 106 for 1, India, and they'd reached that target in something like 14 overs. And India had been bowled out for 224. Within a session, they were back in the game. They took 7 wickets in the afternoon, and suddenly it was a 1-innings game. Conditions started to ease. The intensity of the game remained throughout, but that injury to Chris Woakes, again, another sliding door moment in this test match. Only for India to come back into the game. They post another 370 target. England have chased 2 of those down against India in the last 3 years. That partnership of Harry Brook and Joe Root, both going past 100. Tea on day 4, and there were very few people in this ground expecting anything other than England wrapping up victory quite soon after the tea break, and then for India to come back again, only for the weather to intervene late on day 4. 35 runs needed this morning, 4 wickets for India. It's a toss of a coin game that actually was more in England's favour than India's, and they came back again. I think huge credit to India. They don't deserve to lose this Test series, but England don't either, because they did the same thing to India at Headingley. They came back and won a game they should have lost.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing at Lord's. So the 2 have traded blows throughout, and I've been so impressed by the way both teams, despite losing key individuals, Ben Stokes for England, of course, Chris Woakes in this Test match, Rishabh Pant in the 4th Test match, Jasprit Bumrah didn't play this Test match. Both teams have lost key individuals, but at the end of the day, I think both can look each other in the eye and say, what a series that was.
Yeah.
We need a 6th Test match.
That would be good. Great work for our overseas listeners, John, you and the team. I take it you'll have a following on podcast to dissect it all. When's that up and running?
Yeah, well, we're going to be recording that. I mean, everybody here is kind of like walking around like zombies. Nobody knows what to do with themselves. It's suddenly over.
Yeah.
We've been living this dream for 25 days, and now we're kind of bereft and not really knowing what to do or say or think. But yeah, Super Over and also Following On will be up on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel very, very shortly. Myself and Neil Manthorpe, Jeremy Coney and Jarrod Kimber will be combining. I'm sure Harmy will be there as well. And yeah, just trying to reflect on one of the greatest cricket series of all time.
Brilliant. Thank you, John. All the best.
Cheers, John.
Cheers, guys.
Jon Norman, our cricket editor there, and that Following On podcast, as John said, will be up soon on the Cricket YouTube channel.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.